Welcome to another episode of Great or Garbage. We've got the BOSS XT-2 Xtortion on the bench. This is a pedal I've been wanting to check out for a long time. I actually bought this one from Japan recently with some other BOSS pedals, but I wanted to do a dedicated video on the Xtortion. The controls on this are pretty interesting because while you have a level and distortion control like just about every other BOSS distortion pedal, rather than a tone control or bass and treble controls, you have contour and punch. These do their own thing. We're going to hear what contour and punch do. We'll start out hearing a little jam into a very clean amp, so all the distortion is going to be generated by the Xtortion. I do want to give a quick shout out to jpfans.com. I purchased this pedal on that website. If you want 20% off shipping with JP Fans, use my link in the video description, LT Fans. For now, let's dive in. Let's start out with some single coils. I'm using the neck pickup of my Tyler JTG. I don't have the mid boost on this guitar at the moment, so it's just going to sound like a Strat neck pickup. We're going into the Xtortion with the drive quite low, the punch all the way down, contour at noon, and I've got the level at 1 o'clock. The contour control is really interesting because at noon, that's the maximum amount of mid-range you can get. As you turn it down, it scoops out the mids. But as you turn it up from noon, it also scoops out the mid-range just in a different spot. So this is like the most 90s thing ever. It gives you two ways to scoop the mids. I love that. The punch control is like a pre-gain mid control. So that is going to give us the ability to essentially push more mids into the front of everything. The contour is definitely at the end. It's almost, I guess you could argue, not dissimilar to the way something like a Mark Series amp works, where your bass, middle, and treble are pre-gain. You can use those to, I guess, shape the character of the distortion, and then you use the graphic EQ to sculpt things. So this is going to sculpt things. This is going to be our little pre-EQ. The distortion does distortion, obviously. It's living up to the X in Xtortion, where there's some pretty extreme EQ settings available in there. Cranking up the punch control with the contour either all the way up or all the way down is pretty interesting. A couple of those sounds remind me of that Rockman style extreme mid-range in there, and that's running it into a clean amp. So let's run it into a crunchy amp now and see what we can get out of this. My, let's say, preconception is that this is going to get very fuzzy, and I might even just treat it like a fuzz. Say something like a Swollen Pickle, which I love running into a dirty amp that gives you a scoop control and a couple of extra options to really shape the tone going into the amp, but I might be misguided. Let's have a listen to what we get. The contour and the punch controls are certainly novel. It just lacks the dedicated bass and treble controls that you find on something like a Metal Zone, where the Metal Zone can get super extreme, but you can also cater it to the type of amp that you're running it into that Marshall style clip there. Everything was just way too bright and had that ear-piercing quality to it. With the rectifier style sound, I think it worked a little bit better and it got a bit chainsawy and HM2 style, but it's got its own thing going on. I think it definitely was designed to be run into like a clean pedal platform. And if you think of other pedals at the time, like the DoD grunge pedal, it was probably designed as a one-stop shop where you plug this in and you just get a massive filthy wall of sound, which it certainly does. I think my favorite way to use it is sort of my favorite way to use an HM2 or a Metal Zone as well, which is as a faux fuzz with a Strat into a very warm style clean sound, a bunch of delay and reverb, and you just kind of do the Gilmore thing. So I will play you all out on that with the Strat. I'd love to know your thoughts on the BOSS Xtortion. Great or garbage? Is this something that you bought back in the day and you were either blown away with or disappointed with? Have you been curious about it like me and you've bought it from somewhere, tried it out in your rig and found that it either did something kind of cool and worth keeping or it was straight out the door? I know for me, this one, maybe more so than any other Boss pedal that I've tried, leans slightly more towards the garbage end of the spectrum. Maybe it's just in the middle on there. I mean, how garbage can something in a Boss enclosure really be? Let me know in the comments and I'll play you all out with my favorite tone out of this pedal. Thanks for watching.